Welcome to October. This month we are in a 9 portal month and in an 8 portal year. Now, I'm going to give you 2 permission slips / pieces of numerological advice. And then we're going to talk about how you can expect that this energy will be impacting your work, your relationships, your family, and especially your inner self. So, my first piece of advice is take this month day by day. That's it. Just take it day by day. Especially for the first 2 weeks of this month, where the main energy is that 9 with the underlayer of the 8. So it's quite intense still. Take it day by day. And then halfway through the month, our 1 energy for next month will come online. And that's when you can allow and really expect that these new seeds, the new beginnings, all of that awesome 1 energy that really does complement the 9, it'll start coming in and you'll start to feel maybe a bit different. You'll know where you want to go or what you want to do. So please take it day by day. I'll say it again. Take it day by day. Okay. Now my second piece of advice is that like I said, right, the way that the numbers play out, that means that the energy for the first 2 weeks of this month is really focused on the 9 energy, which is to wrap shit up. It's about closure and it's about completion so that you can make space for your rebirth. So for the first 2 weeks of this month, don't expect yourself to have that 1 energy and to know what you need to do next and to have those new seeds and to take that new action and to be self-assured and ready to go. The 9 lets you just flow through what you need to let go of. That's okay. The whole purpose, well, partially of the purpose, I can't even say the whole purpose because the 9 is so broad, but just give yourself the space to wrap it up. Whatever cycles are coming up, to wrap them up. All right? Now, those are my 2 pieces of advice. Now, I want to talk to you about how this 9 energy will be coming into your work life. So if you are employed or you have your own business, you're self-employed, whatever it is, the 9 encourages you to reflect on what projects and responsibilities are no longer serving you. It's going to have that wrapping shit up, completing those cycles energy. Are there tasks or commitments that you're really ready to let go of? Have you found that your values are having a bit of a rejig, or that perhaps the choices and work you've been making aren't really in true alignment with your deepest values? This is the time to really reflect and clear the space for the new opportunities. With the 1 energy, it does mean new beginnings, new opportunities, but only if you've made space for it too. So we've also got the energy of the 8 for the whole year, which is, finances, abundance. It can really support career breakthroughs, career shifts and changes. And that 9 will be like, oh my God, what do I need to complete in this? And the 8's like connected to my work, connected to my finances. That's a bit of it. So you might like to now, with a pen and paper, just reflect on anything that's coming up. I really encourage you. What is your body saying as I was even saying anything that I've said so far? How did you feel in your body? Was there a contraction? Was there a little aha moment? A little ding, like a light turned on. Oh, that's what that is. Really just be as self-aware while you receive this information as best you can, because otherwise it's just more information. So, now, in your relationships, this is going to be beautiful and hectic, I reckon. So, the 9 is everything that is connected to the past. the 9 is about our karmic cycles. And yes, friends, karmic relationships, which can be inherently challenging, but can also be those really beautiful karmic relationships that, helped get you connected to the job you needed to get connected to. It's like where there's karmic relationships, it's a lot of pre-scripting happening, I reckon. Things that will be aligning you to take the actions needed to fulfill your dharma. So there's a lot of potential with relationships this month. So it can be closure and healing. It can be, any unresolved dynamics from the past may rise to, surface for that final resolution, or, as much of that resolution as you can possibly have space for at this time. Still waters run deep sometimes. So this is the time to have those honest conversations. It's the time to honor and acknowledge your past hurts and how they're going to be influencing your current relationships, how they are manifesting your current relational dynamics, and assess, is that nurturing your growth? The 9 sometimes needs a bit of cutthroat energy to say, actually, no, this is not the way things need to be done for me. I'm not growing, or I'm growing in ways that aren't really for me. I'm growing, I'm running the template of what someone else told me I should be doing in this dynamic, in this relationship that is impacted from the past. So ultimately, just go easy. And like I said, guys, take this day by day. The 9 is dense, man. It's beautiful, it's loving, it's everything, but it has our deepest darkness in it, and that takes time. No one's expecting you to move through this in a millisecond. Okay, reflect, give yourself the first half of this month to allow the awareness of all of these dynamics in your relationships to come up. Now, for some, the 9 will mean that you manifest situations that are literally an absolute mirror of your unresolved patterns. So that can be drama, that can be hurts, betrayal, things that we think, oh no, why is this happening to me? But it can also be, okay, how am I creating this for me? What in my psyche through this experience wants to find completion? So I'll give you an example. For me, I'm traveling, I'm in Europe right now, and I had this experience where I was in a bar, and it's really not somewhere I tend to go anymore. I'm so freaking energetically sensitive that I don't tend to like it that much. But it was like, okay, I'm trying it on. I'm in another country. I'll do things. And I noticed that I was manifesting situations that reflected back to me past versions of myself that totally would have been doing X, Y, and Z. And I had to really face that. And on one hand, I had this voice be like, why have I done this to myself? Why did I create this? This sucks, man. Like, what the fuck? But then, with further reflection, I was like, oh yeah, because honestly, I could actually identify threads of like where I still felt unworthy and was actually still a vibrational match for this situation. And my psyche has manifested and created this situation so that I can have this awareness and complete it and be like, actually, all right, I'm looking at this situation now from a new lens, and I've actually grown heaps. And you know what? I'm good. I don't need to play it out like this anymore. So that for me was an example of that closure completion experience. So do with it what you will, babes. Now, of course, relationships, that your friends, partners, things like that. But let's also go into the family. the original birthplace of all of our other freaking dynamics in other relationships, you know? So this 9-month really brings the opportunity for healing into these long-standing patterns, these generational cycles, or even misunderstandings. So this is the time to break free as best you can from the old roles and narratives that have been passed down to you. The energy of this month really does support family healing, and again through the 9 energy of compassion, of forgiveness, of just love and acceptance, and allowing space for new, healthier dynamics to form, you know, as we shift into these higher frequencies, and allow the awareness that you are getting during this month to really help you expand so that you can hold a higher frequency. You've got this. Something I will also add, because it's not always just doom and freaking gloom, the 9 frequency, when connected to the family, we've got long-standing patterns, right? But that's not all bad. You've got long-standing gifts that can be used for the 9 energy of service that you have the chance this month, especially with all this extra 9 energy around you, to connect with. So I like to think of it as we incarnate really specifically in lineages where we know that, you know, these parents and these grandparents and these great-grandparents have these skills. And if I go into this lineage, I'm going to get those skills. This sounds great. So, you know, for me, I know one of the things that has been popping up through my connection with trees, actually, when I've been connecting with trees and, you know, in many different lands, many different countries, I've realized that we actually have this sort of like soul essence. And in this soul essence, trees can actually recognize us, not as my now Emily personality and form, but my essence. And as I connect my heart in with these trees, I always hear the same thing in my clairaudience: teacher, teacher. And I'm like, I don't really do that much teaching. I have run, you know, online events, portal workshops. I do teach somewhat. And I think in numerology readings, there is a level of teaching because people are learning, you know, what numbers mean. But I then realized, for those of you who don't know, my mum has been a teacher for over a decade, well over a decade. And she's really goddamn good at it. Really good. It's like, it's her thing. She froths it, you know, it's her way of service. And I think for me and where I'm going in my future with even, you know, because with what I was saying before with the 9 and the 8 and career, I'm right there analyzing, shifting and seeing, you know, what I want to let go of. And there are new seeds, new potential seeds. I'm not ready to plant, but they're there, they exist. And it does run on that teacher theme. It's so interesting. And it's not because the trees have been calling me a teacher. It's, you know, from doing Lycian light healing on myself, doing things like that. And it just reaffirms we choose our family so specifically because they have the gifts and talents that we need. So if you're like having a journaling exercise, what in your family, what in your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, what stories have you heard? What career paths did they take? What did they do in times where they needed to be their most resilient selves? So many of us have families that were in war, that were, you know, really went through it. What did they do? And then look at your life. Look at how you've been guided. What are the gifts that are coming through you? Okay. And as you do that, I want to bring this all back to one of the most central points, which is really the foundation for all of these other work, family, relationship aspects in your life. And this is yourself. It's your inner self. There's only one of us. It's ridiculous. So October is the opportunity for deep reflection and integration. You may feel a really strong urge to retreat, to journal, to meditate. Maybe there's a lot you feel like you need to process. And it's really the best, like all of the growth and the changes and the challenges and the gifts of this year. You might be finding you want to spend even more time really with it, really processing it. Now, in your relationship with yourself, this is where I want to mention that the 9 is connected with Vega and the 8 has the Orion influence. My feel with this is that celestial influence from Vega is really expanding and allowing us to experience a higher consciousness that is accessing that soul wisdom. And then our Orion is empowering us to step into our truest expression fiercely. You get it. This is the energy where you're both going to need to be brave, courageous, and soft and really gentle with yourself. It's kind of like being a really compassionate and loving but also disciplined parent to yourself, where you say, hang on a second, you know, I love this. I heard this example and it was, you know, when you speak to your child, your inner child, and she says, hey, I want some ice cream for dinner. And you go, okay, all right, but like, I know that you probably need some cleaner energy because you're going to have a big day tomorrow. So your body might feel better if you eat these greens and this salad and some protein or whatever it is, and then we'll have a bit of ice cream after. So it's like the compromise and the way of loving on ourselves in all areas of life, to know this is where I draw the line with myself. These are my boundaries for myself, for my greater good and greater growth. And this is where I'm also going to be gentle. And I'm going to allow myself to be sensitive and just be in it. You get it. So take all of the time you need. This is a really awesome opportunity for you to let go of what's not serving you and to really move forward, especially in that halfway point through the month, with this like, oh my God, I know what I'm doing and this is what it is. You know, it's going to happen. It'll ease up. Even if you have some sort of idea now already of what it is you're going to want to do, don't try to force it just yet. The 9 sometimes has a lot of pushback and a lot of things don't go to plan. So if you're trying to get momentum, if the energy is not quite there, just give it till halfway through the month and it will start easing up. I promise. So my loves, let the energy of this 9 month just guide you into closure and completion. And can you fall in love with this process, with gratitude of the 9's full moon sort of energy, where you go, this is what has to go. Oh my God, I'm clearing so much space, you know? And then trust the process, integrate your lessons. And I set the intention for every single person who is listening to this, that you integrate these remembrances through grace and love and ease and fun, and enjoy the cosmic dance. And that is all, my love. So stay tuned for more insights as we continue this journey of our cosmic alignment. And remember, take it day by day and give yourself at least 2 weeks to just reflect and not need to know what the next thing is going to be. All right. I love you and goodbye.